You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Now it's time for Facts First.
All right, we've got 2 words for you. Facts first.
Oh, I thought it was going to be something else, but that's all right.
I set it up, but not yet.
You did.
So, hot off the facts from Slick Mick, as usual. He's provided us with a few lists today. So, there's 3 main things I want to talk about and that Mick's put together.
Sure.
Now, the first part here, I want to establish a few things about wrestle speak.
Wrestle speak.
Wrestle speak. Specific words and phrases, terminology that are exclusively wrestling based. In professional wrestling, we're not professional wrestlers, you may have noticed, there's certain terminologies that get used all the time when you're watching the shows. And if you don't know what they're talking about or you haven't got any idea about it, it can be pretty fucking confusing, right? Like, it's pretty hard to understand. So we've put together, Mick's put together,
of course,
this list here. There's 15 things here, and I'm going to go through them. They're commonly used wrestling insider terms, right? We'll start off with kayfabe.
Kayfabe.
Yep. So the portrayal of events in wrestling is real. Basically, it's maintaining the illusion that something that's happening. So if you don't know that professional wrestling is not actually legit as far as the outcomes are predetermined,
Oof, I don't know.
you're probably not really watching this because you've got to have an interest in pro wrestling to watch this, right? Or listen to what we're talking about. But yeah, kayfabe, it's basically the fictional part of the whole thing. Number 2, a work, which is a scripted or planned segment, match, or storyline. So most of what you see in professional wrestling is a work. It's predetermined,
yeah, it's
choreographed, it's worked out, they've got a plan, it's a storyline. The wrestling element of pro wrestling is kind of not even the main part. It's the storyline, and the wrestling is like the vehicle to tell the story. Number 3, a shoot. So that's when something isn't a work, it's real. So if they say something's real, it's for a shoot. Okay, so it's an unscripted thing that'll occur. Sometimes accidents happen, and they'll say that was a shoot. It's unintentional. It's when they go off script and do something different. Number 4 is a pop. Now, a pop is like a loud applause, or the audience is happy about something, and it gets a pop. And sometimes you can hear the terminology, a cheap pop.
A cheap pop, yeah.
A cheap pop. Mick Foley was the king of a cheap pop, where you'd use the name of the city you're performing in, people would go, yeah, and they'd all cheer. That's a pop,
Bands
right?
do it all the time, yeah.
They do it all the time. Heat. Number 5 is heat. Now, heat is, I guess, when you've upset somebody or some sort of negative reactions happened. So you're the bad guy in the wrestling event, and you get heat from the crowd. They hate you because you're the bad guy. You've done something in the storyline that maybe everyone's upset about, so you get heat. Number 6, a job. That's to lose a match. So to do a job would be you're going to lose this particular match. It's usually to help elevate your opponent, so you do the job, which number 7 is a jobber. And the jobber is the person who loses the match, or team who loses the tag team match, or whatever it may be. So a jobber would job out to another wrestler. Number 8 is a push. So when a wrestler is being promoted or moved up the card to a higher status in the show,
or the organisation, or
whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Even just in storyline, it may be a work, it may be a shoot, but a push is when they're promoting somebody in particular. So in the 90s, like someone like Steve Austin got a push, and goddamn son, he didn't need it, but it went there. All those famous wrestlers that you know about, they all had to have a push at some point. Number 9, buried. To bury someone is when the momentum of a wrestler is intentionally stalled or diminished by losing matches, or bad storylines, or poor booking. And so you can be buried by other wrestlers where they won't put you over. Over is the next term. Putting someone over is when they're successful in connecting with an audience, either as a good guy or a bad guy. And over is, if you win, then you're going over the other person. Now, I said good guys and bad guys, but not called that. 11, a babyface. Babyface is the good guy. Kind of self-explanatory, right, Webbles? I think it makes sense.
He's
right?
a babyface. Yeah, the crowd loves him. Yeah, he's the good guy.
Yeah.
People look up to him.
And they've shortened it to just face.
Just a face, but a babyface.
Babyface.
Yeah.
So number 12, we have a heel. Now, heel's the bad guy. A shit heel is another thing they call him. And that's basically someone who's intentionally disliked. They've been made into a heel. And when you change from a babyface to a heel, it's called a turn, right? And a turn is when you've gone from good guy to bad guy, or vice versa. So you can be a babyface and then you do a turn and then you're a heel.
A lot of very successful careers have had that happen to them, right?
Absolutely. And a lot of even current wrestling stars like John Cena recently had a heel turn. He
The
turned
Hulkster happened to the Hulkster.
It happened to Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
That's a very famous one. We'll probably touch on that later. Sell. To sell something. If I punched Wibbles, it would probably not hurt him very much because I'm not very strong, but
I've got to sell it.
he'd have to sell it in wrestling. So he'd have to make something look like it hurt a lot more than it probably did, and he's got to sell it. It's the act of making your opponent look powerful. Right?
Powerful, that's right. Yeah.
That's trying to get them over and promote the other guy and help them out, right? But if you no-sell it, that's when you don't sell it, and you make it look like they're weak. And that can be something you do to maybe bury your opponent.
Could do, yes, could do.
And they're not going to get over because you no-selled their moves. All right.
So there's a couple of...
That's a hell of a lot of terms to get your head around.
There's some terms.
But you need to keep them in mind because later throughout the show, we are probably going to refer to those things. And that brings us to the next thing. What's Mick put together here?
So what Mick's put together is a bit of a list of some wrestling moves. So like Sean just went through a list of some terms there. Here's some basic moves for people who may not have a background or understand wrestling. So strikes. So there's a variety of different strikes. There's the clothesline. I think everyone would have seen that at some point. The old arm out and you strike them across the chest.
Right across the head or chest
yeah,
or neck.
the clothesline. You knock them down to the ground basically.
Yep.
Super kick. Some wrestlers are famous for super kicks.
Yes.
We'll probably touch on that a little bit later. But it's a sudden kick to the opponent's chin. Sometimes chin music may be called upon.
There's a sexy boy who does it.
He's very sexy, very sexy. And it's often used as a finisher.
Yeah.
The chop. The open hand slap across the chest, basically. Popularised by Ric Flair. There's,
Everyone knows Ric Flair.
everyone-
I think you don't have to be a wrestling fan to know.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a wrestling fan to know who Ric Flair is anyway. But he was big on chops.
He
always
was.
does, yeah.
He was big on the chops. Slams and drops. So slams and drops. So there's a body slam. So that is effectively lifting and slamming an opponent flat on their back on the canvas, essentially.
I think the most famous one is when Hulk Hogan picked up Andre the Giant and slammed him on the mat. That's a body slam.
They use those 19-inch pythons to
Yes.
pick him up. You know,
He did.
the power bomb. So that would be lifting an opponent up and slamming them down on their back in a powerful style. So the power bomb. The suplex. Sean, what's a suplex?
If you lift your opponent up off the ground and then you both fall backwards. So they're in front of you and you grab them and you both fall backwards. I'm sort of doing it here on the chair. Sorry for the listeners, they
Fall
can't
back
see
and
us.
drive 'em onto
But
the
that's
mat,
what a
yeah.
suplex is, and it drives them into the mat. It's pretty brutal.
Then we've got a DDT. So driving the opponent's head into the mat while falling backwards. Sorry, the DDT.
You normally have their head under your arms and then
yeah.
you drop them.
You drop them.
Yeah.
Submission holds. So this one's pretty famous, the old sharpshooter.
Oh.
So this is a leg submission made famous by Bret Hart, one of the all-time...
One of the greats.
One of the
We'll get on to
goats,
Brett
one of
very
the
shortly,
goats,
but
yeah.
sharpshooters are they're
Sharpshooter.
awesome. I used to put my brother in one all the time.
Great
I put
move.
my kids in it occasionally too. They don't know what's happening. They just get their legs twisted up like a pretzel.
Another classic, the figure four leg lock. So a leg hold that targets the opponent's knees, made famous again by Mr. Ric Flair.
Oh, he's done so many.
He does, yeah. One of the goats.
Love Ric Flair.
The arm bar. So I think most people understand that. So that's a submission basically targeting the arm or the elbow joint. So you see that a lot.
You get trained in that in just basic training for just about any kind of military combat arm
anything.
bars. Yeah.
Sleeper hold. I think everyone's tried this on their little brothers or sisters. The old sleeper hold. So a choke hold that cuts off blood flow to the brain. So that's a classic. That one. Now,
You were about to do one on me then. You thought about it.
thought about the.
You thought about it, and then he's like, I don't want to pass him out.
No.
Mr. Sean will collapse
We
here.
got a show to get through.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
Can't
It
be so
works. They
conscious.
work.
The
Have you ever done one?
no, not properly. No, I must admit. We'll
No.
try later. Maybe that's a special segment on the most electrifying man.
We'll get our guest here and we'll sleep hold him. Anyway.
So there's some aerial high flying moves. So the elbow drop, the jumping and landing with an elbow on the opponent, often from the top rope. So they'll stand on the top rope and launch and drop a flying elbow onto them.
The Macho Man used to do that one.
He
That
loved
move.
it. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. The frog splash. What's a frog splash, Sean?
It's a leaping body splash with a tuck and extension mid-air. That sounds more complicated than it is. Basically, off the top rope, you're diving from the top rope onto your opponent, but you make it look like a frog jumping into water.
Sort of gives you that little bit of extra push through the air.
Well, I
It's like
mean,
a little something
it's more.
other.
It's about. I think it's about the aesthetic, right?
It's
It's about
it
how
is.
it looks.
Yeah.
It looks awesome.
It does. What's the next one we got there, Sean?
Moonsault, which is a backflip off the ropes onto
It
your
looks
opponent
cool.
who's on the ground. Another
looks
one that
cool.
looks great.
It
A lot of those
does.
high flying moves. The danger, I think, is in the landing
It
with
is.
knees and on top of people's arms and stuff like that. We've got some finishes here. Go
Great
through them,
finishes,
Wibbles.
great
These are good,
finishes.
right?
So this one, But all those out there, you'd know this one, the Stone Cold Stunner, made famous by, of course, Mr. Steve Austin.
Yep.
So a sudden sit-down jawbreaker. It's a signature move.
It was one of his best.
It was.
It's such a good move, the Stone Cold Stunner,
The Stone
and it's
Cold
such a simple thing
Yeah.
to pull off on your siblings.
Yeah, easy one. Next one is the Tombstone Pole Driver. Absolute classic. An upside-down slam onto the head, used by, of course, the Undertaker. Yeah, the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Now, we sort of got to this one earlier.
You mentioned it before.
The sweet chin music. Who was this, Sean? What happened here?
It was HBK, the Heartbreak
HBK.
Kid, Shawn Michaels. He's a sexy boy.
Very sexy.
And sweet chin music, yeah. Basically a super kick right to the face.
Right into the chin, right? Knock him out. That was how it finished
It was
him
a good
off.
one. And here we go.
And of course, can you smell when everyone's cooking here? It's the Rock Bottom, made famous by The Rock, of course, and it's a lifting side slam used by The Rock. Yeah.
And then you got the People's Elbow.
The People's Elbow. Yeah, so he had the People's Elbow.
Everyone remembers that.
Yeah.
But now to wrap up facts first this time, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually just going to give some summaries about the top three, the big three. So in the 1990s, right, there were three wrestling companies that were the big three. There was the WWF, World Wrestling Federation, WCW, which is World Championship Wrestling, and ECW, which is Extreme Championship Wrestling. So I'm just going to give a little summary on each one because, again, like the other things, we're going to be coming back to this stuff all through the show. So here's a short summary. WWE, which is what it's called now, World Wrestling Entertainment, which was World Wrestling Federation. I don't really acknowledge it as WWE, mate. I'm kind of just I still call it WWF. It's what
I think most people do. Yeah, that's what we grew up on.
It was founded in 1953 as the Capital Wrestling Corporation by Jess McMahon and Toots Mondt. It was later taken over by Vince McMahon Sr. and rebranded as the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, so WWWF, in 1963. Then in 1982, his son, Vincent Kennedy McMahon Jr., very famous, bought the company and shortened the name just to World Wrestling Federation, so WWF, and transformed it into a global entertainment powerhouse through national expansion and the rise of stars like, we said it before, the Hulkster and The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Macho Man Randy Savage, some of the greats. He was renamed to World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, in 2002, and that was because of a legal dispute with the World Wildlife Fund, and it remains now the world's largest and most influential professional wrestling organisation today. It is pretty much the only game in town.
It is, yeah.
As far as wrestling. And Americans, it's such an American thing, professional wrestling, but it's actually also has its roots in Mexico and obviously Greco-Roman wrestling. That's where wrestling's come from. But WWE is like this global phenomenon. It's a massive powerhouse of entertainment. And it's, like I said, the only game in town. But before that, there was WCW. Well, not before it, at the same time. World Championship Wrestling. So that began as a regional promotion under the NWA, which is the National Wrestling Alliance umbrella. It's originally known as Jim Crockett Promotions. In 1988, it was purchased by media mogul Ted Turner and renamed to WCW. It had stars like Ric Flair, which we talked about, Sting, and later the NWO, led by the Hulkster.
The Hulkster, yeah.
WCW became WWF at the time's main rival during what was called the Monday Night Wars, and we'll probably touch on that later as well. Throughout the 1990s that happened. Despite its success in the mid-90s, mismanagement and declining ratings led to its downfall. And in 2001, WWE actually purchased WCW, officially closing it down.
Which was a shame because the WCW was awesome. Like it took a different route basically to the WWF, right?
Yeah, and having options is a good thing, right? Like I think, and it bred competition having both companies. But there was also the third company, ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, which was founded in 1992 by Ted Gordon as Eastern Championship Wrestling, so eastern side of the United States. It broke away from the NWA in 1994 under the leadership of Paul Heyman. He's now known as more of a manager for Brock Lesnar and a few other wrestling stars. ECW is known for its hardcore, violent style and counterculture appeal. ECW built a passionate cult following and influenced the direction of mainstream wrestling. Despite its impact, financial struggles led to its closure in 2001 as well. And guess what? WWE acquired its assets, and took it in and revived it as its own brand. So it actually made ECW a brand of WWE from 2006 to 2010. But ECW was just basically violence and gore, and it was hardcore wrestling. And if you don't like hardcore wrestling, then I don't know what's wrong with you. So there you go.
Get a dog up, yeah. There you go.
All right. Of those three, right? WWE is the only survivor.
It really
thing.
is, yeah. It's a monster. It's an absolute monster.
Because
now.
WWE owns all that stuff, you can still track it all down and watch the old WCW and ECW wrestling online. So, good stuff.
Good stuff.
Let's go to our best stuff. Let's talk about our top 5 wrestlers.
Top 5s. Here we go.